93% of drivers make at least one of these mistakes every single time they fill up, and most have no idea they're doing it. These 11 gas station habits are silently destroying engines across America, causing over $400 million in preventable repairs every year. I'm going to show you each one so you never make them again. And at the end, I'll reveal the 5 fuel habits that can add years to your engine's life. The same habits I used to push my Ram 1500 past 400,000 miles on the original Hemi. Let's start the countdown. Mistake number 11. Topping off after the pump clicks. You hear that click and think, let me just round it up to the next dollar. Maybe squeeze in a little more so I don't have to come back as soon. Seems harmless, right? That little habit is quietly wrecking one of the most expensive systems in your car. When the pump clicks off, it's not a suggestion. It's a signal that your tank is full and the vapor recovery system has done its job. When you keep pumping past that click, raw liquid fuel gets forced into the charcoal canister and EVAP lines. These parts are designed for vapor only. Liquid fuel saturates the charcoal, clogs the purge valve, and throws your whole emission system into chaos. Had a customer with a Highlander, 62,000 miles, check engine light stuck on for months. Codes pointed straight to the EVAP system. When I asked about her fill-up habits, she admitted she always tops off to the nearest $5. Charcoal canister was completely saturated. Purge valve destroyed. Total repair bill came to $1,400, all because of a habit she thought was saving her time. Here's the thing, that extra splash of fuel is worth maybe 30 cents, but the damage it causes runs between $800 and $2,000 depending on your vehicle. The vapor system can't handle liquid. It's that simple, and if topping off sounds bad, the next mistake is even more common, and it's cooking fuel pumps across America right now. Mistake number 10. Running your tank below a quarter regularly. Most people wait until that fuel light comes on before even thinking about a gas station. Some drivers treat it like a game, seeing how far they can push it. But every time you run your tank that low, you're gambling with a part that costs a fortune to replace. Your fuel pump sits inside the gas tank, submerged in fuel. That fuel isn't just there to burn, it's cooling the pump and keeping it lubricated. When the tank drops below a quarter, the pump starts sucking air, running hot, and working harder than it should. Do that enough times, and the pump burns itself out. But that's not even the worst part. The bottom of every fuel tank collects sediment, rust particles, and moisture over the years. When the tank is full, that junk stays settled at the bottom. When you run it low, the pump sucks all that contamination straight into your fuel filter, your injectors, and your engine. Guy brought in his F-150 last month, 91,000 miles. Fuel pump failed on the highway. When we dropped the tank, there was a layer of gunk at the bottom like wet sand. He admitted he never filled past half a tank in 8 years of ownership. Pump replacement plus contaminated injector cleaning ran him $1,100. Keep your tank above a quarter. It costs you nothing and saves your fuel pump from an early death. But if you think running low is risky, the next mistake can destroy your fuel system in a single fill-up. Mistake number 9. Filling up while the tanker truck is delivering. You pull into the station and see that big tanker truck parked by the underground tanks, hose running into the ground. Most people don't think twice. Pumps open, price is right, let's fill up. That decision can send a wave of contamination straight into your engine. Underground fuel storage tanks collect sediment, water, and debris at the bottom over time. Normally, that junk stays settled, and the pumps draw clean fuel from higher up in the tank. But when a tanker truck dumps thousands of gallons into that tank, it stirs everything up like a shaken snow globe. Suddenly, all that sediment, rust, and water is suspended in the fuel. And if you're pumping while that's happening, you're pulling contaminated fuel directly into your car. Your fuel filter catches some of it, but the rest goes straight to your injectors, your fuel pump, and your combustion chambers. Had a woman bring in her Accord, 54,000 miles. Filled up at her regular station, didn't notice the tanker. Within 20 miles, rough idle, hesitation, check engine light flashing. Fuel filter was clogged solid with brown sludge. We had to flush the entire fuel system and replace 3 injectors. $960 because she filled up at the wrong time. If you see a tanker truck at the station, keep driving. Find another station or come back in a few hours after everything settles. It's not worth the risk. And speaking of risk, the next mistake is one almost everyone makes because they think they're being smart. Mistake number 8. Always chasing the cheapest gas price. Everyone loves saving money at the pump. You drive an extra 10 minutes to save 8 cents a gallon. You download apps, chase deals, hunt for the lowest price in town. Feels like a win every time. But here's what that bargain fuel is really costing you. Not all gasoline is created equal. The EPA sets a minimum detergent requirement, but that minimum is barely enough to keep an engine from choking. Discount stations often meet only that legal floor and nothing more. Top-tier certified stations use 2.5 times more detergent additives. That difference matters more than you think. Detergents are what keep your fuel injectors clean, your intake valves clear, and your combustion chambers free of carbon buildup. Without enough detergent, deposits start forming with every tank. Over months and years, those deposits stack up. Your engine runs rougher, burns more fuel, and eventually starts misfiring. Customer came in with a Malibu, 78,000 miles, complaining about rough idle and poor acceleration. Carbon buildup on the intake valves was so thick, I had to walnut blast the entire intake. He'd been filling up exclusively at the cheapest station near his house for 5 years. Saved maybe $600 in fuel costs. Paid $1,800 to fix the damage. Those few cents per gallon add up to real money over time, just not in your favor. And if chasing cheap gas is bad, the next mistake can cause immediate damage the moment you pull away from the pump. Mistake number 7. Using regular in a premium required engine. Premium fuel costs more, so people try to skip it. The guy at work says his brother runs regular in his BMW, and it's fine. Internet forums say modern engines adjust automatically, so you figure, why waste the money? Here's why that logic fails. When your engine requires premium, it's not a suggestion from the manufacturer trying to squeeze extra profit. It's an engineering specification. Higher compression engines need higher octane fuel to prevent premature detonation. When you use regular, the air-fuel mixture ignites before the spark plug fires. That's called engine knock, and it's the sound of your pistons getting hammered. Modern engines do have knock sensors that retard timing to compensate, but compensation isn't prevention. The ECU pulls back power and efficiency just to keep the engine from destroying itself. You're getting worse gas mileage, less horsepower, and more stress on internal components with every mile. Had a customer with a Cadillac ATS, turbocharged 4-cylinder, 73,000 miles. He'd been running regular since he bought it used. Brought it in for a ticking noise that wouldn't go away. Carbon buildup on the valves, piston ring wear, early catalytic converter degradation. The repair estimate hit $4,200. He thought he was saving $50 a month on fuel. 5 years of savings wiped out in one shop visit. If the cap says premium required, it means required. And if you think fuel grade matters, wait until you hear what happens when you fill up at the wrong kind of station entirely. Mistake number 6. Filling up at low traffic or rundown stations. You're on a road trip or running late and spot a gas station that looks like it hasn't been updated since the 80s. Paint's peeling, pumps are old, and you're the only car there. Price is decent though, so you figure it's fine. That decision could cost you more than you saved for the rest of the year. Gas stations that don't move a lot of fuel have a serious problem. The fuel sits in those underground tanks for weeks, sometimes months. Over time, condensation forms inside the tank. Water mixes with the gasoline. The tank walls corrode and flake rust into the fuel supply. You're not pumping fresh gasoline anymore. You're pumping contaminated liquid that your engine was never designed to burn. Low-traffic stations also tend to delay maintenance. Filters don't get changed. Tanks don't get inspected. Problems pile up underground where nobody sees them until customers start coming back with damaged cars. Family brought in their minivan after a road trip through rural Texas. Filled up at a station that looked abandoned except for the open sign. Made it about 60 miles before the van started sputtering and died. Fuel was so contaminated with water and sediment that the injectors couldn't atomize it properly. Fuel pump corroded, filter destroyed, tank had to be drained and cleaned. Total damage came to $2,200 from one tank of old fuel. If a station looks neglected, trust your instincts and keep driving. And speaking of things people ignore, the next mistake costs almost nothing to prevent, but thousands to repair. Mistake number 5. Ignoring a loose, cracked, or missing gas cap. That little plastic cap seems insignificant. It's just a lid, right? Some people lose them and never bother replacing them. Others ignore the check engine light that comes on because the cap wasn't clicked tight. Tiny part, tiny problem. Except it's not. Your gas cap seals the fuel system and maintains pressure in the evaporative emission system. When it's loose, cracked, or missing, outside air and moisture get into your fuel tank. The EVAP system throws a code because it can't maintain proper pressure. Your engine runs slightly rich, trying to compensate, burning more fuel and running less efficiently. But here's where it gets expensive. Moisture that enters through a bad cap collects at the bottom of your tank. Over time, that water corrodes the fuel pump, contaminates fuel, and leads to the same problems you'd get from filling up at a bad station. All preventable with a quick inspection and a cheap replacement part. Woman brought in her Nissan Rogue with a check engine light she'd been ignoring for 8 months. Code was for a small EVAP leak. The gas cap was cracked along the seal, but by then, moisture had gotten into the tank and corroded the fuel sending unit. What could have been a $15 cap turned into a $640 repair. Check your gas cap every time you fill up. Make sure it clicks. Replace it if it's worn. Cheapest insurance you'll ever buy. And if ignoring a gas cap is foolish, the next mistake is something people do every single day without realizing the danger. Mistake number 4. Pumping gas with your engine running. You're in a hurry. It's hot outside and you want to keep the AC blasting. Or it's freezing and you don't want to restart a cold engine. So you leave it running while you pump. Millions of people do this every week. It's also one of the most dangerous and damaging habits at the gas station. Gasoline vapor is extremely flammable, and it's invisible. When you pump fuel, vapors escape around the nozzle and your tank opening. A running engine produces heat, electrical sparks from various components, and exhaust that's hot enough to ignite those vapors. Gas station fires are rare, but when they happen, this is often the cause. Beyond the fire risk, running your engine while fueling messes with your EVAP system. The system is designed to capture fuel vapors when the engine is off. When it's running, fuel flows while the system is actively trying to purge vapors. This creates pressure imbalances that can damage valves and seals over time. Saw a Suburban come in with EVAP codes that wouldn't clear. The purge valve was stuck open, canister vent valve malfunctioning. After running through the diagnostic checklist, I asked the owner about his fueling habits. He admitted he never shuts off the engine when he fills up, said it's been his routine for 10 years. That 10-year routine cost him $850 in EVAP repairs. Turn off your engine when you pump. It takes 30 seconds to restart. That half minute could save your car and maybe your life. Now, if running the engine is risky, the next mistake is flat out catastrophic. Mistake number 3, using the wrong fuel entirely. This sounds impossible. Who puts the wrong fuel in their car? More people than you'd think. Rental car confusion, borrowed vehicles, distracted moments at the pump. One wrong squeeze of the handle, and you're facing the most expensive fill-up of your life. Diesel in a gasoline engine is bad. Diesel doesn't ignite from a spark the way gasoline does. Your engine will crank, maybe start rough, then stall and refuse to run. The fuel system gets contaminated, injectors clog, and the whole thing needs to be drained and flushed. Costly, but survivable. Gasoline in a diesel engine is catastrophic. Diesel fuel lubricates the high-pressure injection pump and injectors. Gasoline strips that lubrication instantly. Metal grinds against metal. The injection pump can seize within minutes, and the damage spreads to injectors, fuel lines, and beyond. We're talking $5,000 to $12,000 in repairs. Sometimes the engine is totaled. Then there's E85 in a non-flex fuel vehicle. That high ethanol content burns hotter than standard gasoline. It corrodes seals, melts plastic fuel components, and can destroy oxygen sensors and catalytic converters. One tank can cause thousands in damage. Customer brought in his wife's Jetta after she accidentally pumped E85. Made it 4 miles before it started bucking and stalling. Fuel system flush, new injectors, new O2 sensors, damaged catalytic converter. Final bill hit $3,800 from one wrong nozzle. Always check the pump before you squeeze. Those few seconds of attention can save you thousands. And if the wrong fuel is an obvious disaster, the next mistake is far more deceptive. Mistake number 2, trusting octane labels at unbranded stations. You pull up to a no-name station. The price board says regular, mid-grade, and premium, just like everywhere else. You press the premium button and assume you're getting 91 or 93 octane. Sometimes you're not, and you'd never know it until your engine starts complaining. Unbranded and independent stations don't always have the same oversight as major chains. State inspections happen, but they can't test every pump every month. Some stations have been caught selling regular fuel from the premium nozzle. Others mislabel mid-grade as premium. A few have been fined for watering down fuel or blending grades improperly. The problem is, you're paying premium prices for regular fuel. Your high compression engine expects 91 octane and gets 87 instead. NOx sensors start working overtime. Time pulled back. Performance drops, fuel economy tanks, and if it goes on long enough, real damage starts accumulating. Customer with a Mustang GT came in frustrated. Car felt sluggish. Fuel economy dropped almost 4 miles per gallon overnight. We tested his fuel sample, and it came back at 88 octane. He'd been at an independent station advertising premium for 20 cents less than everyone else. That discount wasn't a deal. It was a lie. If the price seems too good to be true, it probably is. Stick to branded, top-tier stations where accountability exists. And if trusting the wrong pump is bad, the absolute worst mistake is what happens after you leave the station. Mistake number 1, ignoring the first warning signs after fill-up. This is the mistake that turns small problems into engine killers. You fill up, pull away, and something feels off. Rough idle, slight hesitation, check engine light flickers. Most people ignore it and keep driving. That decision can multiply the damage by 10. If you catch it early, the fix is simple. Stop driving, get the tank drained, replace the fuel filter, and you're back on the road for a couple $100. But keep driving on bad fuel, and it reaches every injector, coats every valve, and destroys components that cost a fortune to replace. Guy brought in his Tundra with a misfire so bad it could barely idle. Traced it back to a fill-up 3 weeks earlier. He noticed rough running that same day, but figured it would clear up. By the time he came in, all 8 injectors were fouled. Intake valves carbon-caked. 2 ignition coils failed. What could have been a $200 fix became $3,100. After every fill-up, listen to your car. If something feels wrong, act immediately. The difference between a minor inconvenience and a major repair bill is how fast you respond. Those are the 11 mistakes destroying engines at gas stations across America. But here's the good news. Protecting your engine doesn't require luck or expensive modifications. It just takes knowing what to do right. These next 5 habits can add years to your engine's life. Habit number 5. Always fill up at top-tier certified stations. Top tier isn't a marketing gimmick. It's a fuel standard created by automakers who got tired of seeing preventable engine damage. Top-tier stations use detergent additives at 2.5 times the EPA minimum. These detergents clean your injectors, valves, and combustion chambers while you drive. Customer had a 4Runner with 280,000 miles, exclusively top-tier fuel since new. We opened it up expecting wear, found an engine that looked half its age. Clean valve stems, no sludge, injectors still within factory spec. Chevron, Shell, ExxonMobil, Costco, BP, these are top-tier brands. It costs 5 to 10 cents more per gallon. One prevented repair pays for a decade of better fuel. And if top tier protects your engine, the next habit protects the part that keeps fuel flowing. Habit number 4. Keep your tank above a quarter full. This costs you nothing and extends your fuel pump's life. Your fuel pump depends on gasoline to stay cool and lubricated. When the level drops below a quarter, the pump runs hotter and wears faster. Plus, every tank accumulates sediment at the bottom. Run it low, and you're sucking from the bottom of the barrel. Had a customer who ran every tank to fumes for 15 years. His Silverado came in with a whining fuel pump at 130,000 miles. Sock filter looked like it had been dipped in mud. New pump, new filter, tank cleaning. $680. Keep it above a quarter. Your fuel pump will thank you with an extra 100,000 miles of service. And if keeping fuel in the tank matters, what you add to it matters just as much. Habit number 3. Use a quality fuel system cleaner every 5,000 miles. Even with top-tier fuel, deposits build up over time. Modern direct injection engines are especially vulnerable. A quality cleaner every 5,000 miles keeps things running clean. Look for polyetheramine or polyisobutylene as active ingredients. Techron, Gumout Regain, and Redline SI1 are proven to dissolve deposits. Customer with an EcoBoost F-150 was losing power and getting terrible mileage. We tried 3 tanks with concentrated cleaner. After 1,500 miles, deposits reduced over 40%. Avoided a $500 cleaning service entirely. $15 every 5,000 miles versus hundreds in carbon cleaning. The math is simple, and if cleaning your fuel system matters, inspecting one tiny part matters just as much. Habit number 2. Inspect your gas cap every oil change. This takes 10 seconds and prevents hundreds in repairs. Check the rubber seal for cracks. Make sure the threads aren't stripped. Confirm it clicks tight. A worn cap lets air and moisture into your fuel system, throws EVAP codes, and causes corrosion over time. Woman brought in her Nissan Rogue with a check engine light she'd ignored for 8 months. Gas cap was cracked. By then, moisture had corroded the fuel sending unit. $15 cap turned into $640. The seal degrades around 5 years or 50,000 miles. Replace it proactively. Cheapest insurance you'll ever buy. And if cap inspection protects your fuel system, the final habit protects everything else. Habit number 1. Pay attention to how your car runs after every fill-up. This separates drivers who catch problems early from those who pay for catastrophic repairs. Every time you fill up, pay attention for the first few miles. Rough idle? Hesitation? New sounds? When you get bad fuel, your engine tells you immediately. The question is whether you're listening. 2 customers got bad fuel from the same station on the same day. First one noticed the rough idle, stops driving, had the tank drained. $180. Second one drove for a week. Fouled injectors, damaged catalytic converter, scored cylinder walls. $4,700. Same fuel, different outcomes based on who paid attention. After every fill-up, listen to your car. 30 seconds of attention can save you thousands. Those 5 habits cost almost nothing and can add 100,000 miles to your engine's life. Click the video on screen now. I'll show you the maintenance myths that make smart drivers look stupid.